You are listening to the number one real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, and stories help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I am joined with Vikram Deol out of Medellin, Colombia right now, where I will be in a couple of weeks. But before we intro our guest, Vikram, how is Medellin? What has been your favorite cuisine in so far that you have experienced in Medellin, Colombia?
Well, considering I'm basically back 100% on carnivore diet, I'd probably say
Me too. Me too.
steak. Cody, you want to be Indian, you want to eat meat, you want to make funny jokes, you want to use the B word a lot. Cody, did my brownness rub off on you?
Maybe it might have.
All that late night spooning in Argentina.
Yeah.
Dude, no, I'm just chilling, bro. Back on the carnivore diet, feeling good. Got a little sore throat a couple days ago. So I've been going to our IV spot, jamming out over there, and getting needles in my arms every day, getting the juice shoved in there. Feeling better. And then tonight going to Don Diablo's for some bomb ass steak. Super excited about that.
It's exciting. I'm super jealous. But who do we have with us today?
Yeah. So we got Riley Ricobene. And he's out of the Chicago area. He's actually with Real. Interesting story. He was a special eds teacher for many years, and the something pinched him. He probably got bit by like a crazy mosquito that told him to get into real estate, because I think you got to be a little senile to get into real estate. But he's been in real estate now for what, 15 months. He's with Real Brokers as well, so that's kind of cool. And Sharon, our mutual friend and mentor, recommended him to the podcast. So Riley, why don't you share a little bit about who you are, what you're doing in this real estate world, and what's winning?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. So I'm based out of the Chicago suburbs, Elmhurst area, for those of you that know the area. Really starting out, high school, deciding what I want to do with my career, I kind of just picked something that I had experience in, thought I was good at, and I would be comfortable, right? So I chose special education. Was teacher for about 4 years, quickly realized that it wasn't what I loved. Loved the relationships I built. I just wanted more out of my career, more control out of my career, and more income, right? I wanted more value. So that's what really attracted me to real estate. Got on the Bigger Pockets podcast, started listening to some of their stuff, read some books, gained some knowledge. And then I started actually researching careers within real estate, and just being a broker made the most sense. So I really just started to find brokerages that kind of aligned with my investment mentality. And I really had narrowed it down in between Real and EXP. Ultimately ended up going with Real, just felt more comfortable with the people there, the opportunity there, getting in on the ground floor. And I've really never looked back. It's been the best decision I made for myself, for my family, and just looking forward to the future.
When you first started 15 months ago, that transition, I think that a lot of people think about that transition, dream of that transition in anything, entrepreneurship. I remember making that transition from being, in corporate to starting my own agency. And that was a really interesting time in life, where like you're battling between, do I do this? Do I not do this? What if it fails? What if it doesn't fail? What is the opportunity? How am I going to make money? Especially as a W-2 employee. How were you able to kind of finally say, like, draw a stake in the ground? Now, you had mentioned more income opportunity, but there's also more opportunity to lose money in real estate and not make money. Like, what was going through your head that allowed you to kind of make that transition from W-2 employee to becoming a real estate agent, really becoming like a business owner? How were you able to kind of get over that hurdle? Were you part-time at first? Like, did you have, were you doing both? Like, maybe walk us through that transition.
Yeah, absolutely. So want to also include this. So during this whole transition time, so I essentially put in my 2 weeks at my school, said basically I'm gone. I'm going to start studying for the exam. I wanted to just be all in on real estate. I didn't want any other distractions. Find out 2 weeks later that my fiance is pregnant. So obviously lights a fire under your ass. I think it was just more the long-term sustainability of my career, and day-to-day happiness, and trajectory for my career was a lot greater in real estate as opposed to education. I think just having that internal drive that I'm supporting two other people now, that I have to produce, I don't have a choice to fail, was really what got me going off the bat.
In your, so you've been in here for a couple months now. You're still a new agent in my eyes, right? Like the first 3 to 4 years, I'm going to say you're still learning a lot of things. What has got you off the ground, right? I know you have family obligations and that kind of the providing and all that kicks in a different mode of work ethic and whatnot. But you said something in our pre-interview screening that the mindset shift, right? Like, what is it like being a 1099 versus a W-2? And how do you, I'm probably going to go down this train with everybody today, but how do you manage your time?
Yeah, absolutely. Time blocking is my friend. If I don't write it down in my schedule, it doesn't happen. That's what I've quickly found out. I was able to get connected with a great mentor that had the same vision, as I did, for my real estate business. So learning from someone that has already done it and had success with it was definitely a big help getting off the ground. But a lot of it is just trial and error, finding different ways to generate income for your business, get leads, and just really just finding out what works and sticking with what works and how to multiply that and create more business.
What was the first thing that worked for you? Is what I'm
Sure.
what is what
Sure.
I'm curious, because I think that, like, we chat with so many agents, they're like, I built my business on referrals and sphere of influence, but like, what does that even mean? Like, what, we really want to go deeper than that, where it's like, I think far too many agents in the industry, they're like, I built my entire business on referral. It's like, but they really have wishful thinking. You clearly don't have wishful thinking, because you have necessity. Like, you have what Sharon calls raising your minimum standard. Obviously that was an element of like, you're like, I have to raise my minimum standard, but like, what was the first thing you did that you're like, click, this worked?
Yep, absolutely. So what's unique about our local team is we actually have like an in-house cash buyer that does fix and flips. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on the MLS. I'm going to figure out like, these deals. How can I get one of them under contract? And I actually get 2 commissions off that. So I get the buy side, and then when the rehab is done, I'm able to list it. So I was able to get one of those done in the first 30 days. Found a property in a notable suburb in Chicago. Was able to get it pretty well under ask. It worked well for the numbers, and was actually able to get that sold, as well 5 months later. So that was the first deal that I got working off the bat, and I was actually able to get another one of those 3 months after that.
So the
Those are my,
fix and flips. So the fix and flips are where you originally got your business from. Is that where the majority of your business comes from now? Or like, what was the second thing that worked for you? That if somebody is an agent.
I
Yeah.
think what he found, Cody, and I'm going to cut you off. Sorry,
Yeah.
doing this all day to you. What Riley found was he found a way to have a quick win in 30 days.
Yeah.
And Sharon talks a lot about that. He's like, if you got somebody in your program, if you got somebody coming in, he's like, the most important thing that we can do is try to get them a quick win in 30 days.
Mhm.
Because if you don't get that quick win, right, what happens to Riley's confidence? It starts to dwindle. Oh man, maybe did I make a mistake? Oh, dude, I got a kid coming on the way. What was I thinking? Like, oh, maybe I could get my job back. But you got that quick win, and you got a quick win where you knew that there was a backside as well. So most people don't understand that if you help an investor because they want to keep the relationship with you, they're going to give you the listing. They might bring in a co-listing agent to oversee everything, but a lot of times they just give you the listing on the back end because they know exactly what needs to get done and you can't really screw it up. And so you had not only your first deal, but you also had a 5-month, you had what we call a pipeline, ladies and gentlemen.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure, a pipeline. So how did that, before we go into what worked second, how did that quick win in 30 days make you feel? Like, what kind of confidence did you have in yourself? Like, okay, I can negotiate, I can find a deal. Like, what kind of confidence did that give you, Riley, in just, okay, maybe I can make this thing work?
Yeah, absolutely. Up until that point, it was just all kind of words, scribbles in my notebook, all that stuff. And when you actually get the commission check right, then it's real. So realizing that not only the work I put in um, made sense to the investors, showing that I am able to do my job and find them properties. I think that was just a huge confidence builder right off the bat.
What was the second thing? So you have now this in-house, deal flow that can potentially, take your deals. What's working for you right now? Like in 2023, end of 2022, what's working for you right now to find business?
Yeah, I'm going the off-market route with multifamily. That's a huge, huge opportunity area that I see, especially in the Chicagoland area. A ton of renters, especially even a lot of investors that have flips that have just been sitting on the market. They're going the rental route and they're renting in a couple of days. So that's where I see the real opportunity. I was able to really just meet people through social media. There was one correct relationship. I met a guy out at a property. He was got tons of off market deals coming in every month. I was able to get 2 deals done with him to prove my worth to him. And now it's just a partnership. I get all of those off markets exclusively to me, and then I dish them out to all of my investors. And it's really just an easy flow of business. Nothing I
What
have to
is
do
the
actively.
what does the off market process for you look like? Because there's a lot of like circumstances where I chat with agents from across like North America, really, and they're like, they don't really even understand like a lot of them don't even understand what an off market is. So I would love, Vikram's like looking, he's like, what? Like, what do you mean they don't understand what an off market
No,
is?
no,
No,
no.
this
I
has
trust me.
this,
I talk to the same people you
yeah.
talk to, Cody.
So number one, for people that out there that might not know, what is an off market? So they understand what an off market is. And number two, how are you marketing these off market properties to investors that make them feel like you actually give a damn? Like, what does that process look like? And how are you communicating with these investors, with these people in order to get these off market properties sold?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you that don't know what an off market is, it's a property that is not listed. Essentially, no one even knows that it's for sale other than myself or whoever is directly communicating with the seller, right? Um, and I would say really the easiest way for me to get them sold is I just created a private Facebook group of all of my cash investors, all of my investors, and I just post my deals in there. Super simple. I feel like I've gained enough of a reputation that people trust me. I'll actually go out and walk the property with them if they're interested. And talk through the property. I'll bring all my projections for the financials because a lot of them are heavy rehab properties, and just prove to them that these numbers are what I say they are. Use data to, I guess, talk through the property.
So again, I don't know how many times we're going to say this on this podcast, but probably a lot. You come in with actual true value. I was in the Real Estate Growth Academy. One of our team leaders sent one of his agents into a role play call, and she goes, "I don't know why people don't just listen to me. I'm the fucking trusted advisor." I was like, wow. And everybody else is on the call. They're like 12 other people on the call. Their eyeballs like pop out. They're like, wow, like with that kind of attitude, no wonder people don't listen to you. So how did you learn about rehabs, and how did you learn about creating pro formas, and how did you learn all of this stuff on your own? Because they don't teach that stuff in school, and your brokerage probably didn't teach it to you. I know the school you went to for getting your license didn't teach it to you. So what's your process of, like, just you get a property, so your guy gives you a property, and then what do? Do you walk it yourself? Do you bring in a contractor? Do you bring in an inspector? Are you spending thousands of dollars on it? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate to have a couple of just great resources. Number one, I did have a great mentor that taught me the fix and flip process, as well as just the multifamily process, how to analyze that. We actually have a form that we use that I can go to a property and I can fill it out as I'm walking through the property. And at the end, it'll just spit out a rehab number for me for the fix and flip side. And then we also have a multifamily calculator that we use that analyzes all the income, expenses, your percent return, net cash flow, all that good stuff. So I would say it's just more about getting out there and actually doing it. walking these properties. I would say my first 4 months, I was walking almost 100 rehabs a month. So it was really just gaining that experience. And now I'm to the point where I can just look at pictures and be like, okay, I know what this rehab number is going to be. If this offer number is going to work with the list price or whatever it is.
Put in the reps.
Put in the reps,
Exactly.
100%.
Yep.
Put in the reps, learn the things, learn from mentors. I want to transition a little bit to investor conversation, because I think that the investor conversation is interesting, especially in 2023, based on the conversations Vic and I have had with people. It's like a lot of agents aren't even really even considering investors as like a viable option towards growing their business. But it kind of sounds like you've kind of carved out a little niche in the investor space based on the fix and flips, based on the off market properties. Like, how does an agent effectively communicate with an investor? Where do they find investors? Because you said you built a Facebook group, so that's great once you have the investor, but like what is the process that you follow other than numbers? Are there other things that you're doing that are allowing these investors to be like, you know what, I trust Riley. Like, I trust Riley to find me a deal. Like, what are the like things that you're doing in order to kind of cultivate those relationships?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of just nonverbal behavior when you're meeting in person with these investors. I would always recommend going out to local investor groups in the areas that you want to do business in. I would say, hands down, that's the easiest way to meet investors. Number two is just going in with confidence. For me, I just knew that I use data to back up my talking. But really, off the bat, I'm just trying to introduce myself, be confident, and just bring something to the table for them. It's always just bringing value off the bat. So for me, it was just bringing off-market deals to an investor meetup. That's super easy. Or bringing a track history of, okay, I average $40,000 under asking for my buyer clients on the investment side for fix and flips. So just speaking to experience. And if you don't have experience, then it'll take time. But I think it's just learning from people that have done it. If you're someone that's just starting out and might not have a deal yet.
Yeah.
You found the mentor. Sorry, Vic. I'm
No,
really
you're good.
curious here. You found the mentor that helped you with the fix and flip. Was that a paid mentor? Did you just find that mentor and they took you under their wing? Like, what are your recommendations for somebody like that's trying to find the information that they might not have? Like, how did you kind of land into this space?
Yeah, I would say YouTube and Bigger Pockets are the easiest way to gain knowledge just right off the bat. Something free. You can always just listen in, whatever it is. Um, yeah, I would say I got lucky because I have like a lot of conversations now on the attraction side of my business that a lot of agents aren't being supported. They're not even having conversations about financial independence and all this other stuff. So I would say I just got lucky with the right mentor. I just kept asking questions, and he was willing to work with me and take me out and give me some hands-on experience.
Would you say you were quick to implement? Like when he said something to you, like you just went and did the thing? So do
Yes,
you like,
absolutely.
okay, okay. That's something that's really interesting that it came up on I don't know if it came up on a podcast or came up with a conversation with Sharon. Or I think I was having a conversation with Sharon where it's like a lot of people struggle, like mentors won't keep doing things if you don't actually take the knowledge and actually implement it because they want to see you actually win. So I was wondering like if that was part of if you did that, because I've seen that like as a common occurrence across multiple people that look for mentors. Like they ask for advice, but then they never actually do the thing that, you know, the mentor tells them to do. So you were quick to implement. That's interesting.
What are you focused on moving into Q2 of 2023? Like where is Riley's head right now? And why do you feel like that's where you should be focused on?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna really just keep pounding the multifamily game. There's another great resource that I want to put out there. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. It's a website called the Share Group. They provide a bunch of different types of lists, like absentee owners, divorce sellers likely to sell. I bought a couple of their lists, was able to get 6 or 7 deals out of them, pretty budget friendly. Contact information was accurate. So when I'm calling these people off the list, I kind of present myself as a realtor and investor. So I can either go the off market route and I can save them on some closing costs to get the numbers to work if the deal makes sense.
What
So
what was the
it's
name of that list again?
the share group.
Perfect. Um, Dude, I think we could wrap for hours and hours and hours with you. I love that you found a creative niche where you love what you're doing and you're actually able to provide yourself with a lot of knowledge about how to make yourself really wealthy, and you're able to make a lot of money. If people wanted to find you, Riley, and pick your brains a little bit, or if people wanted to find you for some off-market deals, where would they find you at?
Instagram would be the easiest.
Okay. What's your handle?
Let me get it for you here. Honestly,
Mhm.
Riley, and then it's 2 underscores Ricobene, Ricobene.
Well, guys, you heard it here. Riley, I want to say thank you so much for like just sharing the knowledge around like investments, around fix and flips. It's really cool, like your story around like the necessity of making this happen. Like a lot of like agents, especially new in the business, they kind of like teeter totter between like, do I leave my corporate job? Do I leave my job and move out? And it's like you kind of went all in. There was no turning back, and just appreciate your perspective today around everything. And I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the RE Agent Podcast. We'll see you soon.